Within a faith community, realizing you are a sexual minority can feel like standing still while the rest of the world moves in a blur. It is a specific kind of isolation, surrounded by people but feeling fundamentally separated from the shared script they all seem to follow. That immediate mathematical narrowing of the world often creates an assumption about everyone else. It is easy to look at the 97% and assume they are living a version of life that is effortless, simple, and flawlessly aligned. This is the Disney-fied view of the majority, the idea that heterosexual biology makes dating, marriage, and religious belonging an automatic, high-speed rail to a happy ending. When you hold that idealized image of the majority up against your own marginalized experience, it leads to a heavy conclusion. You become convinced that in a room full of healthy, whole people, you are the only one who is broken. Our reflex is often to compare these struggles, measuring the depth of our pain against our neighbors. But when we treat pain as a competition, we only push ourselves further into the corners of the room. There is a counterintuitive relief in sharing the weight. Even when the struggles are vastly different, speaking them out loud makes them lighter. Consider an invisible potluck, where every person in the community lays their private burdens on a central table. The addictions, the secret dysfunctions, and the quiet marital miseries would all be visible at once. If we looked at the actual data behind the perfect straight reality, the trade might not look so appealing. Once the curtains are pulled back, the burdens of the majority are often just as heavy as our own. The data on modern straight dating paints a picture of a grueling hellscape. What looks natural and easy from the outside is actually a cycle of massive rejection and systemic frustration. A single man looking for a connection often starts with a massive volume of potential matches, in this case over 2,400, just to find a single point of traction. As the process moves from an initial match to a text thread and eventually to a physical date, the attrition is brutal. Most potential relationships fail long before the first meeting ever happens. After thousands of initial swipes and dozens of conversations, only a tiny sliver of these men reach a steady, reciprocal connection. For many, the effort results in a persistent sense of exclusion and loneliness. Straight women face a different set of obstacles. In the 18 to 34 age group, nearly 60% report receiving unwanted sexually explicit messages, and 1 in 5 have been threatened with physical harm on these platforms. Modern dating is a silent crisis for the majority. It often leaves massive portions of the straight population feeling isolated and discarded, searching for a path that feels increasingly out of reach. Even marriage doesn't automatically resolve the tension. We've inherited a 19th century ideal of companionate marriage, the idea that one person will resolve all our romantic, sexual, and emotional needs for a lifetime. In reality, straight couples often struggle with profound hidden barriers, vaginismus, erectile dysfunction, and incompatible sexual temperaments that can turn a marriage into a source of deep loneliness. Biologists and therapists often speak of the tragedy of the male sex drive, a wiring that can feel misaligned with monogamous ideals, requiring a constant, heavy effort to bridle and redirect. Even peak societal beauty standards offer no immunity to these issues. Women like Cindy Crawford, Halle Berry, and Sandra Bullock, celebrated as ideals of attraction, have all faced the pain of betrayal from their husbands. The heterosexual marital ideal is not effortless. It is a landscape of constant maintenance and restriction. The majority lives with a version of brokenness that is simply considered standard. Because straight culture focuses so heavily on the marriage relationship, it often suffers from a severe deficit of deep, platonic same-sex intimacy. Many straight men lack the tools to bond through vulnerability. They often require a contrived physical excuse, like sitting on a frozen lake for hours, just to create the space for proximity and quiet connection.
This reveals a quiet starvation. The majority is often desperate for emotional depth, but lacks the vocabulary to achieve it. Sharing pain reveals how different groups actually fit together. When we look past the illusion of the perfect majority, we see that the community is actually a set of complementary needs. These specific deficits within the majority mean they benefit deeply from the perspectives and strengths of sexual minorities. Intimacy is often a second language for sexual minorities, something they have had to study, deconstruct, and learn through struggle. This conscious awareness allows same-sex attracted men to help their straight peers find emotional depth without needing a physical distraction. Same-sex attracted women often provide a similar relief, offering a space where straight women can step away from the exhausting pressure to constantly compete on appearances and charms. These unique perspectives are assets. They provide the specific tools needed to heal the hidden wounds within the broader community. The standard concept of allyship often implies a savior reaching down to help a victim. It assumes one side is whole and the other is broken. A spiritual alliance is different. It is an ecosystem where every person acknowledges they are incomplete without the unique strengths and hard-won insights of their neighbor. You are not a burden to your community. Your unique struggle and the tools you've developed to navigate it are exactly what is needed to make the entire body whole.